Now, President Biden's agenda is, of course, on the ballot today, along with his ability to get things done over the next 2 years if he does lose control of Congress.
In his final bid to voters while campaigning in Maryland yesterday, President Biden warned that the direction of the country and the future of democracy is on the ballot.
And let's be clear. This election is not a referendum. It's a choice. It's a choice between two very different visions of America.
Joining us now is NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli and NBC News reporter Julie Tsirkin. Good morning to the both of you.
Yeah, Mike, let's start with you. The president ended his 2022 midterm push in the state where he unofficially kicked off the Democrats' campaign efforts in late August. Tell us more about his final stop and the message he had to voters there.
Well, Joe, yesterday we were talking about President Biden spending Sunday night in a blue state where Democrats are seeing an unexpectedly close race. Kathy Hochul in a real tough bid to keep her job as governor. Well, last night, Biden was in another blue state, this one, Maryland, where really the race is not in doubt. Wes Moore is the Democratic candidate for governor there. Polls show him with a double-digit lead. So this is about the president trying to end on a high note, a place where Democrats tonight are going to see a real bright spot and a real rising star in the party. Now, it is interesting to see the president trying to focus on a bright spot at a time when Democrats are bracing for tough losses. You heard the president in his message last night talking about Democratic accomplishments, but also talking about what was at risk if Republicans take control. It would mean the end of some of those accomplishments, like lower prescription drug costs. But he also warned entitlement programs are also on the chopping block if Republicans take control. This is all about, you heard it, President Biden talking about this as a choice, not a referendum. Now, today, President Biden's going to be spending Election Day at the White House. He'll have some last-minute radio interviews to try to get out the vote, and then he'll be like us, watching returns and knowing that his agenda is at stake as well.
No, he might be like all of us, watching returns for a long, long time. We'll have to see. Julie, let's bring you here into this conversation and talk about the former president. So yesterday, Trump visited Ohio. This was to urge voters to back J.D. Vance, against Democrat Congressman Tim Ryan. Tell us about that, and also tell us about something else everybody's talking about, the former president hinting at 2024.
Yeah, good morning, Savannah and Joe. Look, last night was the last and final push for all candidates in these tight races around the country to really get out there and appeal to voters one last time before they woke up this morning and hit the polls and went to cast their ballots. And that's why it's important to note that this is where former President Trump decided to make his final pit stop on the campaign trail, campaigning for J.D. Vance, who's in a dead heat against Tim Ryan. All polls, virtually all of them, have shown both candidates very tight margins, and none of them leading outside of the margin of error. So that's important to know as you look at where former President Trump decided to go for his last stop. But that one thing that you just brought up, whether he was going to announce whether he'll run in 2024, I was talking to a lot of allies in his inner circle who have told me that across the weekend in Florida, where he was on Saturday, where he hinted to announcing potentially yesterday in Ohio, former President Trump clearly is ready. His sight is on 2024. His closest allies, though, trying to keep him on 2022. And that's in part because when you look at the seat that Vance and Ryan are vying for, it's that of retiring Senator Republican Rob Portman, a moderate in the Senate, a deal maker across the aisle, one that is close with Leader McConnell as well. Take a listen to what former President Trump decided to tease at the rally instead.
I'm going to be making a very big announcement on Tuesday, November 15th, at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. We want nothing to detract from the importance of tomorrow. You understand that, JD?
Yeah, the former president saying he'll make some kind of announcement instead next week on Tuesday. I should note, by the way, that is also the same day that his former vice president, Mike Pence's book, is coming out.
All right, so, Mike, we have to talk about the current president. The latest polling shows his approval is 44%. That is strikingly similar to approval ratings for Clinton, Obama, Trump in their first midterms. And, of course, they lost majorities in Congress. So how is the Biden White House preparing for the possibility they could lose their majority? Quickly on this one.
Well, we heard from the president last night. He said he's still optimistic, ever optimistic about Democratic chances, but he acknowledged it is going to be tough. And White House officials are stressing the historical trends. Only twice in the last century has the president's party actually gained seats in their first midterm election. So they knew they were working against the curve. But here's the thing. We may be able to look back at 1996 and 2012 to see Obama and Clinton winning re-election despite bad midterms. But they were 48 and 49, respectively. Joe Biden coming up on 80 this month. And that's a lot of questions about his political future.
Mike Memoli and Julie Tsirkin, thank you both so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.